You are now tuned into On the Pitch with the GOAT, TJ Rath.
Yo, welcome back, guys, to another episode of On the Pitch with TJ Picks. Happy New Year. Happy 2025. It's going to be another great year in the betting world, especially with the soccer, guys. Soccer is the number one sport to bet. If you guys haven't found out, you got to find out, guys. Soccer's the number one sport. I have bet all the sports for many years. Soccer's the big breadwinner where you can make the most money, the consistent edge. We got it. Got to be on the VIP. I'm still dropping free picks left and right, free play winners for the people. Currently, 2025, undefeated 7-0 VIP plays in January of 2025, guys. So if you're not in the VIP, you need to jump on board, guys. One of the best VIPs in the business, especially since we concentrate on the soccer plays. Soccer, 90% of our plays are soccer, but I do mix in some football plays. You never know what you're going to get. We'll throw in some hockey plays in the free plays. So I do know about all the sports. I have bet them all over the years, but I have found an edge in the soccer. So I'm going to stick with the soccer. 7-0 to kick off 2025. That means that we haven't had any misses in 2025, guys. 7-0, hitting 77% going back to December, guys. That's a 90 game. Basically, out of 90 games, I've hit 77%. That's real numbers, real raw numbers. Come on now, guys. Nobody in the business is doing what I'm doing with the soccer. So get on board. If you're not already on the team, we're 7-0 right now, guys. I want to go for a big streak. We got a lot of soccer this weekend. We had some big wins today. We had the Real Madrid win over 2.5. We doubled down live. Some of the guys in the VIP took Real Madrid over 1.5 team total goals. This game should have had 5 or 6 goals, but we had some unlucky action in the beginning. We had a couple shots that were straight at the keeper that were blocked, and we had a missed penalty, a goal that was taken back, but we still get those 3 goals and we get a winner. I also threw in a live play for the Portugal game, Sporting CP versus Guimarães, guys. We had the over 4.5, 5, over 5. It didn't matter. The final score on that game was 4-4. 2 winners on Friday for the VIP soccer action, guys. That's how we're doing it. 7-0 right now. Hitting at an absolutely crazy 77% hit rate. All raw, real numbers, guys. Nobody in the business is doing this with any sport, but we're doing it here in the VIP. So jump on board and join soon. Let's go, guys. Get right into the action. At any time, guys, if you have any questions, throw them out there. We'll throw them on the ticker. I like to get the crowd in, got to get you guys involved. So hit me up if you have any messages, any questions. Wearing the Dortmund shirt today, guys. Last week, I wore the Manchester City shirt, and I said Manchester City would win. And guess what? They did win, guys. So I said they would. They did. And, they were big favorites, but just look at that game. Manchester City did win 2-0 versus Leicester. There was minus 385. They were supposed to win that game, but I just said, hey, they're finally going to win, going to get back on track. Let's get right into the action for Saturday. England Premier League. We got to wait one more week for our favorite league, which is the Bundesliga. There will be no Bundesliga this weekend. It's coming back next weekend. I think January 11, it comes back. We'll be ready to rock and roll with that. Premier League England for Saturday, January 4th. We start off with Tottenham. Tottenham taking on Newcastle. Tottenham is at home. Current standings, Newcastle is in 5th place after 19 games, 32 goals scored, 21 conceded. Tottenham is in 11th place, 41 goals scored, 28 conceded after 19 games. Last matchup saw Tottenham go 2-2 with the Wolves. That was another good game. Prior to that, Tottenham lost 1-0 to Nottingham Forest. Newcastle took down Man United. Guys, Man United is in trouble. They can't score. They haven't been scoring at all. They're playing terrible, but Newcastle took advantage of them. Newcastle has actually won the last 4 or 5. Let me see, how many games have they won? They won at least the 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, including the EFL Cup. Okay, they've won the last 5 games, 4 in the Premier League, guys. They're looking good. Tottenham is up and down. Draw last week. Lost prior to that. Big loss to Liverpool prior to that, but they did beat Manchester United 4-3 in the EFL Cup. But that's not saying much because Manchester United is in trouble. Prior to that, they did take down Southampton, one of the worst teams in the league, 5-0. So we see a Tottenham here at home plus 250, Newcastle minus 110. Almost even money for the pick'em. I got to go with Newcastle again here, guys. Give me Newcastle money line. I'm probably going to sprinkle the goals here as well. I do like there to be goals. Newcastle can score at will. They could score 2 or 3. Tottenham has got, conceded a lot of goals, but they also can score as well. They got a lot of striking power up top. Tottenham is at home as well. And when I favor the away team on the money line, you got to sprinkle the over goals there as well. I'm going to go with Newcastle money line and give me an over 2.5. You could take either one of those bet. You could bet them both, or you could use them in parlays, guys. Newcastle money line, give me goals in Tottenham versus Newcastle. Moving on to game 2 in the Premier League for Saturday. Bournemouth at home taking on Everton. Bournemouth minus 145. Bournemouth minus 145 taking on Everton, who's a plus 398. Current standings, Bournemouth 7th place. Everton all the way down to 16th place. They have 17 points. Bournemouth has 30 points. Everton needs to be careful to stay out of the relegation zone. Wolves are right behind them, still out of the relegation zone. 18, 19, 20th place are sitting down there with 15, 14, and 6 points. So Everton, if they're not careful, could land back down there. So let's see what we have here. Previous matchups for Fulham and Bournemouth, 2-2. Bournemouth's last game was a 2-2 draw versus Fulham. Part of that was a 0-0 draw versus Crystal Palace. So they got 2 draws in a row. Everton lost to Forest and tied Man City. That was a crazy tie. And they also tied Chelsea. So Everton has played the big dogs pretty good, have shown their ability to play good defense and draw. I'm not going to really go for goals here just because Everton does play good defense. I'm not really confident in this game, but I am going to go with a Bournemouth money line pick here, minus 145, Bournemouth. Next game, Aston Villa taking on Leicester. Current standings, Aston Villa 9th place, 29 points, 28 goals scored, 31 conceded. Leicester, bottom of the barrel, almost at the far bottom, 19th place. The only team worse than Leicester is Southampton. Leicester, with the win here, can get out of the relegation zone for a little bit, depending on how the other teams do. So a win for them is very much needed at this point. Aston Villa last game tied 2-2 versus Brighton, so they were able to score and get scored on. Prior to that, they lost 3-0 to Newcastle, who's playing very well right now. Leicester 2-0 loss to Man City. They couldn't score at home versus a team that everybody's been scoring on, but shown that their defense is back. Man City beat them 2-0. Prior to that, Leicester lost to Liverpool 3-1. Aston Villa should get the win here. They are minus 294. Big favorites. Leicester might get a goal because Aston Villa's given up 31 goals in 19 games. Aston Villa is the favorite here for a reason. They are at home and they are minus 300. So this could be a parlay piece here. Parlay piece for Aston Villa, minus 294. Hello. How's it going out there? I see some of the comments in the tickers, guys. Appreciate the support. We are going to go with Aston Villa money line as a parlay piece, possible grandma parlay. Aston Villa, Leicester. I do like the over goals here as well. Over 2.5. Aston Villa, Leicester might be over 2.5, 3. That's also known as a over 2.75. Might even be over 3 here. But Aston Villa is at home. They do score and they do concede quite often. I think Leicester could get one for a possible 2-1 or 3-1 Aston Villa win. Give me Aston Villa money line. Give me goals in that game. Next game, we have Crystal Palace at home taking on Chelsea. Chelsea, man, they've been having some trouble recently. Chelsea's still in 4th place in the Champions League zone. The top 4 teams automatically qualify for Champions League. Chelsea, 4th place, 35 points. Newcastle right behind them, 32 points. Chelsea, 38 goals scored, 23 conceded. Playing Crystal Palace all the way down in the 15th slot. After 19 games, they have 20 goals scored, 27 conceded. Previous games, guys, we saw Palace take down Southampton. Everybody's beating Southampton, so that's not saying much. That was a 2-1 victory. Prior to that, 0-0 tie with Bournemouth, and then a 1-5 loss to the red-hot Arsenal. Chelsea, on the other hand, guys, is coming off a very disappointing loss. They were minus 250. And they lost to Ipswich 2-0, guys. No one saw this one coming. I didn't see it coming. This one was a surprise. Chelsea didn't even score a goal, guys. Minus 250 favorites. Prior to that, they lost to Fulham 2-1. Chelsea Everton prior to that 0-0, guys. Chelsea has not won in the last 3 Premier League games. Still holding the 4th slot. They got to get a win here, guys. I say they do. Chelsea minus 111, minus 111 is what I'm getting from the 365 score app. I do like goals here, especially because Chelsea is on the road. I think Crystal Palace could sneak one in, and Chelsea's going to need to score at least 2 to get the win here. So we like the over, but more importantly, give me Chelsea money line to bounce back after 3 straight non-winning games. That brings us to Manchester City, who's back on track. I'm saying they're back on track because they won last week, but they haven't won 2 in a row in a long time. Manchester City at home taking on West Ham. Manchester City minus 345 favorite. Minus 345. Manchester City is in the 6th slot with 31 points. They need to get up there with the win. We'll get to 34 points. Now, if Newcastle ties or loses, they could get that 5th slot. West Ham, on the other hand, 13th place at 23 points. West Ham, 23 goals scored, 35 conceded. Manchester City, 32 goals scored, 26 conceded. Manchester City coming off a 2-0 win over Leicester. West Ham, on the other hand, got destroyed by Liverpool 5-0, guys. Prior to that, West Ham did sneak in a win versus the very last place team, Southampton 1-0. Guys, you guys know where I'm going with this one. It's going to be Manchester City money line. Manchester City team total, guys. Manchester City all the way. They got to get another big win here and a perfect team to do it versus West Ham at home. Manchester City for the win. Money line, goal spread, and team total for Manchester City. That might be a nice little grandma parlay there, Manchester City and Aston Villa. So let's keep that in mind as we move forward. That takes us to Southampton at home versus Brentford. Southampton, very last place team. 6 points, guys. They've only earned 6 points in 19 games. They're not looking good at all. At home, taking on Brentford. Southampton did lose 2-1 to Crystal Palace. In their last game, Brentford went down to the powerful Arsenal 3-1. Prior to that was a 0-0 draw versus Brighton. Southampton is at home, so they might be able to sneak a goal in, guys. This is a plus 223 and a plus 122 for Brentford, guys. Brentford, they're giving Southampton a little bit of love. They're not giving you that straight line that's going to say, hey, Brentford's going to win this game. So, that being said, guys, bottom of the barrel team versus a team who's not that great, middle of the pack, we got to go with the boat to score here. Southampton and Brentford both to score, and give me over goals here as well. And that brings us to the last game for England Premier League Saturday action. Brighton at home. Brighton taking on the powerful Arsenal. Arsenal's in second place, trying to catch up to Liverpool, who's in first place. Arsenal 39 points. After 19 games, 38 goals scored, 17 conceded. Brighton is in 10th place, 29 goals scored, 28 conceded. Brighton coming off a 2-2 draw versus a good Aston Villa team. Prior to that, Brighton 0-0 with Brentford. Arsenal 3-1 winning over Brentford, 1-0 over Ipswich, 5-1 over Crystal Palace, guys, and that was away. So Arsenal can do some damage on the road. The only thing that I'm concerned about here is the line, guys. Arsenal minus 119. That's a little sketchy, guys. They should be at least minus 150. So I'm not going to go with the Arsenal money line just because of the line. It's a little sketch. It's a little off. So you've heard me talk about this before. When you see low lines on teams that should have a bigger line, you need to be careful when you bet these games because you never know what's going to happen. But for the mere fact that we have such a low line, I am going to go with both to score here. I think Brighton at home could get one in. Arsenal will definitely get a goal. So give me both to score in Brighton versus Arsenal. This may be an over game as well, depending on what I'm feeling. It's a later game on Saturday, so I may pick an over there, depending on how we've done in the earlier matches. But I do see both to score there as well. Brighton, Arsenal, both to score. I think I did give both to score in Southampton versus Brentford. I think, with a lot of these games, you could see a both to score. One of the other games I think we'll see a both to score in is a Tottenham versus Newcastle. So I may give my VIP guys a both to score parlay this weekend for Saturday. But for now, we're going to go with the both to score in Brighton, Arsenal, just because of the lines. That'll do it for Saturday's England Premier League soccer action. Next league that's on my slate here is the France Farmers League. Don't really like anything there. Serie A, Italian League. We're going to take it easy and skip this league this weekend, guys. Towards the end of the month, we did try some Italian League games, and they didn't go as planned. So we are going to skip that for now. We're not going to force plays on Saturday just because of the fact that we're playing for money. We want the edge on our side, guys. We're not going to bet 20, 30, 40 picks in one day. Hey, there might be days during the week where we take a day off, completely take a day off. Some of you new guys are wondering, hey, where's the play? I didn't see a play yet. That's because there isn't a play, guys. We're not going to bet every day. You don't have to bet 20, 30, 40 picks in one day, guys. You're not going to win that way. It's not realistically how you win as a gambler, sports bettor. Not a way to invest your money to constantly bet and overbet. It's not going to work that way. So let's go into we're going to stick with the Saturday England Premier League. There's nothing else that I like. I'm going to give you the grandma parlay. It's going to be put on the ticker there. The grandma parlay is going to be Manchester City money line with Aston Villa money line. Manchester City and Aston Villa money line. They're both right around minus 300, so that could give you a good little odds for parlaying both of them, guys. Aston Villa, Manchester City, money line. That's going to be our grandma parlay of the day. And for the over 2.5 parlay of the day, I'm going to have to go with Tottenham and Newcastle over 2.5. Tottenham, Newcastle over 2.5. And the other one that we're going to do for the over parlay is going to be Crystal Palace and Chelsea, guys. I think Chelsea's going to come for blood. They've lost too many games in a row. They need to score. Plus, they're playing away, so the other home team is going to sneak one in. On the ticker, guys, it's going to be over 2.5 parlay for Saturday. Tottenham, Newcastle over 2.5. Parlay that with Crystal Palace and Chelsea over 2.5. Over 2.5 there. And that's going to be, guys, the over parlay for Saturday England Premier League action. Once again, for those of you taking notes, I'm going to repeat it one more time. The over 2.5 parlay is going to be Tottenham, Newcastle over 2.5. And parlay that with Crystal Palace and Chelsea over 2.5. All right, guys, moving on into Sunday, January 5 is back to the Premier League, guys. We have Fulham at Ipswich, guys. Current standings, Fulham 8th place, Ipswich 18th place, guys. It's still in the relegation zone. Ipswich coming off a big win over Chelsea. Prior to that, they had only a 1-0 loss to Arsenal. Ipswich did have a big win not too long ago, I believe. They beat Tottenham. Trying to see if they had another big win versus they did tie Aston Villa, so they play, very bad, or they can play very good and tie teams that they shouldn't be tying, or even be in the same ballpark with, but they can do that. They are plus 447 dogs versus Fulham. Fulham is a minus 180 right now for this matchup on Sunday. Fulham coming off a 2-2 draw versus Bournemouth. Ipswich 2-0 victory over Chelsea. I think Ipswich can get a goal here, but I think Fulham is going to have the edge. They are going to be money line is a little bit too high. So give me over goals in Ipswich versus Fulham for Sunday. All right, guys. Takes us to our next game. Liverpool at home versus the awful Manchester United, who have not scored a goal in I don't know how long. Let's see here. Manchester United last game lost 2-0 to Newcastle. Prior to that, Manchester United lost 2-0 versus the Wolverhampton Wolves, who have the worst defense. Everybody scores on the Wolves, guys. They give up 2 to 3 goals a game, and guess what? Manchester United cannot score a goal against them. So Manchester United is not going to do a dang thing against Liverpool. Manchester United also lost 3-0 to Bournemouth at home. Prior to that, they lost 4-3 to Tottenham in the EFL Cup. Last time that they won was a big win over Manchester City, 2-1. 1, 2, 3, 4. Last 4 games, Manchester United has lost. They are going to lose again here, guys. Got to go with Liverpool. This is a big juiced favorite. So we're going to have to take a Liverpool goal spread, Liverpool team total goals. And that'll do it, guys, for Liverpool versus Manchester United on Sunday, England Premier League. Give me Liverpool goal spread. Give me Liverpool money line as a parlay piece. And give me Liverpool team total to continue to just mess up this Manchester United team who has no hope right now. That would be a big surprise mafia win if Manchester United ties or win this game. That'll be somebody made the call. But if that doesn't happen, let's hope it doesn't happen, because sometimes it does happen. And the call is made, and the team that you think no way they're going to win ends up tying or winning. So that's why, guys, you got to remember, gambling is not always 100%. You never know what's going to happen. The thing that looks like it's going to be the sure thing sometimes it isn't a sure thing. So Liverpool team total, Liverpool money line for a parlay piece, and Liverpool goal spread -1.5. That'll do it for Sunday action in the England Premier League. There's only 2 games there. Skimming the other leagues, France League. I don't see our team PSG in the mix there. Italy. We don't really want to touch that league right now just because of what happened last time we looked at the Italy league. I mean, they did have a few goals a couple games ago. I think we did get a live win there in one of the games, but you know what? Just because there isn't no German soccer league going on, there's no Liga Spain either. They're doing the Copa del Rey right now. I will go over a couple of the Serie A Italian League games. Monza at home, taking on Cagliari. Monza both of these teams are fighting relegation, guys. Both of these teams are battling. Monza has 10 points. Cagliari has 14 points. Cagliari 18th place. Monza is in the 20th slot. These guys both need a win. Last game, Monza 2-1 loss versus Parma. I remember this game was like a last-minute loss, guys. They battled their way. Cagliari 3-0 loss over Inter. Everybody loses to Inter. Prior to that, Cagliari 2-1 loss to Venezia. For the mere fact, guys, that both of these teams need a win and are going to hustle, and they need to play hard. I'm going to do a both to score here. Monza versus Cagliari. Both to score. I did see a question there in the ticker. I did see a question there above the ticker. Australian League, thanks for bringing that up, guys. There are 2 Australian games. There is one tonight, I think in about an hour. And there's another one in the middle of the night. So I may touch on those briefly. Those might be VIP plays. They might not be. I might skip them because one is an over 3.5. And I think both of them are over 3.5. So you got to be careful when you see those high overs just because of the fact you just never know what's going to happen. We had an Australian game last night that I was looking at, but I saw the line drop in 35, 40 minutes before the game, guys. The over 2.5 went from like -160 all the way down to -120, guys. And we stayed away. And guess what? There was 2 goals in that game, guys. The line told the story. There's a quick goal in that one too, so you always got to be careful. Anyway, Sunday, Serie A, Monza, Cagliari. Give me both to score just because they're battling relegation. Second game in Serie A for Sunday, Lecce at home taking on Genoa. Lecce, 17th place, also trying to stay out of the relegation zone. Genoa, 12th place. Last game for these 2 teams, Lecce had lost 2-0 to Como. Lecce also lost 1-2 to Lazio. Prior to that, Genoa 2-1 win over Empoli. Genoa 1-2 loss to Napoli. Prior to that, they had 2 0-0 games. Genoa, very good defensive team, but they are playing away. These other guys, Lecce, need a win. Lecce's +160, Genoa +187. Genoa should be the favorite here, but they are away. Give me both to score, guys. We're going to do both to score again in Italian soccer. Lecce versus Genoa, both to score. Next game, Serie A Italian League, Torino at home, taking on Parma. Parma. Torino, 11th place, 19 goals scored, 24 conceded. Parma, 25 goals scored, 34 conceded, guys. They're giving up a lot of goals. Previous game, Torino 2-2 versus Udinese as a +267 dog for Torino. Prior to that, Torino lost 2-0 to Bologna. Parma 2-1 win over Monza. Big win in the final second off a corner kick. Prior to that, AS Roma down, Parma 5-0. Prior to that, Parma 2-3. Hellas Verona beat them 3-2. And then prior to that, Inter beat Parma 3-1. Prior to that, Parma beat Lazio 3-1. So Parma has been scoring goals, guys. Goals in this one. Torino, Parma, over 2.5 goals. Give me the goals. Goals in Torino versus Parma. That takes us to Serie A. Last game for Sunday, AS Roma versus Lazio. Current standings, Lazio 4th place, still in the Champions League position, 35 points. AS Roma, 10th place, lost some good players after last season that went off to better teams. AS Roma, 24 goals, scored, 24 conceded. Lazio, 33 goals, scored, 25 conceded. This is after 18 games. Last game, AS Roma 1-1 versus AC Milan. Prior to that, they had a 5-0 win over Parma. Lazio 1-1, Atalanta draw. Last time these two faced off, Roma won 1-0. Lazio is visiting, have been giving up 25 goals in 18 games. AS Roma, Lazio. I'm going to keep it simple, guys. Both to score. AS Roma versus Lazio. That's going to be a both to score. 3 out of 4 games, guys, both to score. But since I'm calling for goals in Torino, we got to go with both to score in all 4 of these games. May do that as a parlay, guys. Parlay, Italian League, Serie A for Sunday. All 4 games, both to score. Low wager, fun parlay there. Take notes. Write it down, guys, because that's what we're going to have there for Sunday Serie A. Let's move back because somebody did ask about the Australian League, one of my favorite leagues to bet. Australian soccer. Let me find it here. Tonight, Friday, we have Newcastle Jets 53 minutes away. Newcastle Jets at home taking on Sydney FC. Newcastle Jets, 11th place. There's only 13 teams in this Australian A-League. Newcastle Jets are in 11th place. After 8 games, 9 goals scored, 13 conceded. Taking on Sydney, who's in 9th place, 20 goals scored, 17 conceded. Previous games, Newcastle Jets went down to Wellington Phoenix and lost 2-1. Prior to that, though, Newcastle Jets, 4-0 victory over Perth Glory. Sydney coming off a 3-0 win over Melbourne Victory. Prior to that was a 3-3 draw versus Adelaide United. And prior to that was a 4-3 loss to Western United, guys. So we're seeing 7 goals, 6 goals, 3 goals in the Sydney games. Newcastle, 4 goals, 2 games ago. Newcastle to Wellington Phoenix lost 2-1. You know what, guys? I got to look at the lineups here as well. That's important. Got to see if the main guys are playing for Sydney. Got to see if the main guys are playing for Newcastle. Let's see. Sydney. Costa had 2 goals 3 games ago. And on this one, Sydney, Costa, Lolly, Kaczerski, Kaczerski, Costa. Okay, Lolly's in. Costa, Kaczerski, where are those guys at? I don't see them. A couple of the guys that have been scoring goals for Sydney, not in the matchup. Let's take a look at Newcastle. Newcastle, where are you at? Let's see. All right. Newcastle, in their previous game, actually 2 games ago, they had 4 goals. And we had Gibson, 2 goals. Gibson for Newcastle. Gibson is playing up top. Let's see who's the favorite tonight. Sydney, the away team, is the favorite. minus 116. Newcastle plus 252. It's going to be juicy, guys, but the free play for tonight's game is a both to score. Both to score in Newcastle, Newcastle Jets, and Sydney. I think the edge is to Sydney to win this game. Later tonight, the other game, which is around midnight, is Melbourne Victory, minus 170 favorite versus Western Sydney Wanderers. That's the second game for Australian Soccer League. Let's look at the standings for these teams. Melbourne Victory is in 6th place, 13 goals scored, 8 goals conceded. Western City Wanderers, 24 goals scored, 20 conceded. In their previous matchups, Melbourne Victory actually had a 0-0 draw versus a very defensive Auckland team. Prior to that, they had a 3-0 loss to Sydney, and prior to that, a 1-1 draw with Melbourne City. Western City Wanderers, on the other hand, had a 2-3 loss to MacArthur FC and a 3-2 win over Adelaide and a 4-1 win over Wellington Phoenix. So when Western City Wanderers play, there is goals and there's goals being conceded. So one simple bet that you can do for Australian soccer here for tonight is to bet both games to go both to score. It is juice. Both are probably going to be juicy, but if combined together, will give you a little bit of an action. And the game that is going to be the over game for tonight is going to be given to my VIP players, guys. I do feel one of these games is going to go over, even though we have some high lines. So VIP guys, stay tuned for that play. It's going to be coming shortly after I'm done with this live show. That'll do it for the Australian Soccer League for Friday night on into the early morning. And because I did do the Italy League rundown for Sunday, I am going to give you a quick rundown for Serie A. I'm going to go a little backwards. I'm going to give you the rundown for Serie A. Venezia versus Empoli on Saturday. Venezia is in 19th place relegation zone. Empoli is in 13th place. Venezia coming off a 1-0 loss to Napoli. Empoli 1-2 versus Genoa. Prior to that, 3-2 loss to Atalanta. Empoli, Venezia. The last 3 times they've faced off with each other, guys. I'm going to go with the same trend. Give me both to score. Venezia versus Empoli. Second game for Saturday, Italy Serie A, Fiorentina versus Napoli. Napoli second place, 41 points, tied with Atalanta. Atalanta both looking for wins. Fiorentina 5th place, 32 points, just a little bit outside the Champions League qualification zone. Lazio right in front of them. So Napoli is looking for a win here. Both teams are looking for a win, but Napoli is the stronger team. Fiorentina 2-2 draw versus Juventus. Prior to that, they had a 1-2 loss to Udinese. Napoli only a 1-0 win over Venezia, guys. They were at home. They were minus 345 favorites, guys. I don't know what was going on there. But I think we're actually going to see some goals here because Napoli's a plus 161. They should not be a plus 161, guys, even though they are away. They went from a minus 345 to a plus 161. Come on now. Give me goals in Fiorentina versus Napoli. Give me a both to score. Next game for Serie A, Hellas Verona. Hellas Verona taking on Udinese. Hellas Verona plus 192. Udinese plus 162. Current standings, Hellas Verona 15th place, 24 goals scored, 42 conceded. Udinese 23 goals scored, 28 conceded. Guys, there's not much more to say here other than We're going to get some goals, guys. Italian League, come on now. Do it for us. Give me both to score in every Italian game, Saturday and Sunday. Parlay it up. Parlay it up, guys. Parlay the both to score. Give me goals in Hellas Verona at Udinese over 2.5, guys. Some guy said, John, I don't know anything about Australian soccer, but I'm a degenerate, so I'm going to take your word for it. Guys, let me tell you a little story about Australian soccer. I've been doing this for about 8 years now. About 4 to 5 years ago, I found the Australian Soccer League one time late at night. I was watching soccer, and I was one of the first cappers to ever bet on Australian soccer and bring it up. Now a lot of people talk about it, bring it up, but I was the original capper who brought Australian soccer into our vision, corner kicks, goals, and now I know the players, now I know the teams, and know the trends from year. Guys, other guys will give you Australian soccer plays, but nobody actually knows Australian soccer like I do. I just want to remind you guys that I'm one of the guys that brought Australian soccer to the forefront. I am one of the first guys to bring it up. So yes, Australian soccer is one of our favorite leagues. All right, guys, that'll do it for Saturday, Sunday. And since there are some games on Monday, we're going to go into those, guys. Monday, soccer action, Premier League, Wolverhampton Wolves, Nottingham Forest. That's in Monday. That's the final game for the EPL for the weekend. Wolverhampton Wolves coming off a 2-2 draw versus Tottenham. Nottingham Forest 2-0 win over Everton. Forest 1-0 win over Tottenham. Prior to that, 2-0 win over Brentford. Last 2 times these two teams faced each other was a 1-1 draw. Wolverhampton Wolves, Nottingham Forest, early pick for Monday. Give me both to score Wolverhampton Wolves, Nottingham Forest for the Premier League on Monday. I just skimmed to see if there's anything on Tuesday. Nah, Tuesday kind of chills down a little bit. We will have some Australian soccer, though, on Tuesday, but that's too far ahead, guys. We don't know what's going to be happening there. That will probably be a VIP play as well. So a lot of soccer, guys. Soccer, the thing about soccer is it never stops. Soccer goes year round. I mean, it never ends, guys. There's some league, and I know almost every league out there, we will have bets throughout the year. It's not like baseball or basketball where, you know, you have a long periods of dead time. Soccer never ends. There's always action. There's hundreds of games. And as you have seen, guys, I give free plays from the Egyptian League, from the Indian Super Soccer League. You name it, we bet it. We have Saudi Arabia League. We find action, we find it, and we bet it. And it may be a free play, maybe a league that you've never heard of, but we always find an edge, and that's what we will continue to do in the VIP, in the free play action. All right, guys, let's finish up with some NFL action. I think this is the final week before the playoffs. I'm not exactly sure which teams are going to be resting players, so bear with me. Which teams are going to be actually playing for something. I do know some of the teams that are playing for something still here and there. So let's just go. I do love the teasers. So we are dominating in the NFL teasers. So keep that in mind, guys. NFL teasers are on fire, hitting over 70% on the year, probably 75% or higher if they are primetime games. We've been dominating those. Just to give you an example, last year in the NFL playoffs, I went 10-1 going into the Super Bowl game in the NFL playoff with NFL teasers. I only missed 1 teasers when it came down to playoff football, wild card through the end. And then I finished it off with another winner in the Super Bowl. I was out there in Vegas, enjoying the cigars, the lobster, making bets in person. I didn't go to the game, but I was watching it while I was there. Had a great time. Put real cash on the under. Got lucky. We did have a teaser winner. I totally was, a little bit worried when I realized that it was like college football rules for the overtime, man. And we still held on, but it was always the under in the Super Bowl game last year. We hit a teaser 11-1 in playoff NFL teaser action last year. I've continued the heat with NFL action, guys. Like I said, I know how to read these lines. I know how to read the situation. So get on board. We don't only do soccer. We do NFL as well. Saturday action, Cleveland Browns, Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens are minus 20 favorites on this one. I'm not even sure if Baltimore Ravens need to win this game or if they're going to have the backups in, if they're going to have Josh Johnson, the backup quarterback, who's a journeyman, guys. Little story about him. He played at the university that I played at. For those of you who don't know, I played college football at the University of San Diego. That's where Coach Harbaugh started his coaching career. He did coach Josh Johnson there a few years after I left. And Josh Johnson is now the backup for the Baltimore Ravens. So I don't know if he's starting or what. Cleveland Browns are 3-13. They don't want to win. But the lines, the spread is minus 20. The over-under is 41. Just because of the fact that the over-under is 41, I'm going to go with the straight play there, under 41.5 points for Baltimore Ravens and Cleveland Browns. Takes us to Cincinnati Bengals versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. This one is a meaningful game. Current standings, Cincinnati Bengals are 8-8. Pittsburgh Steelers 10-6, so they'd love to go 11-6. Cincinnati Bengals 9-8. Bengals. I like the teaser here, guys. I like the teaser. Pittsburgh Steelers over/under is 48 for the game. Last game, the Bengals beat the Broncos 30-24. Pittsburgh Steelers lost to the Chiefs 29-10. Steelers coming off of 3 big losses over against big teams. But we do remember not long ago, the Steelers did beat the Bengals 44-38. I don't know if we're going to see the... Okay. So the Bengals and the Steelers coming off a big game. The line should be much higher, but it is set at 48. Not sure how the weather is going to be, but just because of the fact that we saw these two teams battle out to a shootout not too long ago, and this game having some meaning, I'm going to go with the teaser here. Steelers at home. Give me the Steelers plus 9.5. And give me the under 7 points. There's going to put us at 55, under 55 teaser for the Steelers and the Bengals. I like that one a lot. Let's take a look at our action for Sunday NFL. New York Giants 3-13 taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles are minus 2.5 favorites. I do believe that the Eagles are resting players in this game. I think I did see something about Saquon Barkley being a little upset about not being able to play and get some yards for a record or something like that. So I did see that. I don't know if things have changed. So Eagles are not really playing for much. The over-under is 37. Giants are the Giants. Terrible team. The over-under is 37. For all those factors alone, give me a straight under 37 points in Eagles, New York Giants. Under 37 points. Chicago Bears, Green Bay Packers. Bears are terrible. I called this at the beginning of the season that they were going to be a bust. That quarterback was going to be a bust. Oh, yes. There are some players that are going for props that if they do hit, they unlock bonuses. But just like anything, guys, just because they are going for that and if they hit a certain amount and they do get their bonuses doesn't mean it's going to happen. So keep that in mind. Don't always rely on that. Just be careful. Doesn't mean it's going to happen. But you never know. There's a lot of people that's going to be betting them. So just know it's not always going to, it's just for the same thing. If a team has to win, doesn't mean they're going to win. If the player needs just like 50 yards for a big bonus, doesn't mean he's going to get 50 yards. He could get hurt. So you never know. Packers -10, Chicago Bears, over under is 41. You know what, guys? On this final week where teams are getting ready for the playoffs, I'm going to go with another under. Give me the under 41 in Green Bay Packers, Chicago Bears. Next game, Carolina Panthers, Atlanta Falcons. Falcons -8 favorites. Previous matchups for the teams. Carolina Panthers lost 48-14. Falcons lost 30-24 to the Redskins. They were putting up a lot of points prior to that, too. Give me a teaser here, guys. Give me Falcons -1. Give me over 41 points in Falcons, Carolina Panthers. Buccaneers are taking on the Saints. Buccaneers -14. Over under 43. 14 points is a lot of points. But I think they're going to do it again, guys. Give me Tampa Bay Buccaneers -14. Washington Commanders, the Redskins at the Dallas Cowboys. Commanders 11-5, Cowboys 7-9. The last time these two teams faced off against each other, the score was 34-26, Dallas Cowboys. The Commanders are favored this week for a reason. They're the better team. Cowboys are crap. Give me the Commanders -6.5 there. Jacksonville Jaguars, Indianapolis Colts. Give me the under 44 points. Texans, Tennessee Titans. It's a coin flip, guys. Flip a coin. Actually got a coin right here, guys. Heads, Texans. Tails, Tennessee Titans. Texans, money line. Give me Texans, money line. Buffalo Bills, New England Patriots. Patriots currently hold the number 1 pick, I believe. Bills might be resting players. I don't think it matters. Give me the over under 36. Give me the under 36. Kansas City Chiefs, Denver Broncos. I think the Chiefs are resting people. They don't need to win. The Chiefs, I believe, are resting. I did hear that. Denver Broncos -10 though. Over unders 40. A lot of low over unders, guys. A lot of low over unders. Give me another under 40. Denver Broncos, Kansas City Chiefs. San Francisco 49ers 6-10 versus the Cardinals 7-9. Lots of injuries here. We're going to do another under, guys. Under 42.5. Followed up by Miami Dolphins, New York Jets, over under 39. I know it sounds crazy, guys, but give me another under 39 points in the Jets versus Dolphins. Seattle Seahawks, Los Angeles Rams, 9-7 Seahawks, 10-6 Rams. I gotta go with the teaser here, guys. Tease it. Give me the Los Angeles Rams plus 13.5 over 31. That's what the teaser goes up to with 7 points. Los Angeles Chargers and the Las Vegas Raiders, guys. This is a big rivalry. The Raiders, have won, I think, the last 2 games. Yeah, they did. They won 25-10 and 19-14. If they would have lost both of those games, they would have had the number one pick. So I don't know what they were doing. This is a rivalry game. Raiders at home, over under 41 points. Los Angeles Chargers. The Raiders have been playing a little bit more tight football games here. I think Chargers are going to win this game to get momentum going into the playoffs. Give me the Chargers +3 and give me the under 48.5 in Los Angeles Chargers versus Las Vegas Raiders. Whew. Big game, guys. Big game. Detroit Lions, Minnesota Vikings. This one's going to be a big VIP play. The teaser is going to be a big play. The over-under is 56, guys. That's insane. I don't care how big it is. Give me the straight over 56 points. Over 56 points. Detroit Lions, Minnesota Vikings. Guys, that's going to do it for the NFL action. NFL action, guys. Gave you guys some free parlays, grandma parlays. We're going both to score in all the Italian League soccer games. You may just take 3 or 4 of your favorite ones, put them in a boat to score, guys. I want to thank everybody for all your support, guys. The new year is going to be a good one. We had a great 2024 going into year 8 of doing this, guys. I have a lot of knowledge. No one in the business is doing what I'm doing when it comes to customer service, when it comes to creating a community of VIP, exclusive VIP chat, VIP members that are chatting day in, day out, 24/7, open 24/7, guys. When other cappers give you picks, they give you picks and that's it. They say goodbye, good luck. We have a VIP exclusive chat where we're chatting it up in there day in, day out, guys. Beware of the scammers out there who promise you riches, who are flashing fake Rolexes, who are flashing rented Lamborghinis, promising that they're going to help you quit your job, guys. Those are just like the old infomercials of the 80s and 90s, those pyramid schemes where they just, promise you these get rich quick schemes. That's not what happens in sports betting, guys. You will not get rich quick. You will not, we will win more than we lose, but you got to build it up. Everybody's bankroll is different, so don't bet your hard-earned money all in on certain plays. You got to bet smart. Pick your bets, pick your spots, and just know, guys, if it looks too good to be true, if you see bets out there that are 50,000, 10,000, 30,000, all from offshore book accounts, guys, these guys are just flashing fake numbers. They could get a free account from these books, and if they're putting up bets $20, $30, $40, $50,000, guys, they're all fake. Watch out for the scammers, guys. And thanks again for all your support. And let's get at it, guys. I got to look at this Australian soccer game coming up right now. So thanks again for your support. TJ Raff is signing out. See you next time.
You are now tuned into On the Pitch with the GOAT, TJ Raff.